welcome everybody to the Magic Beans podcast. We are back again for episode number 117. I'm your host tonight, and my name is Shorty, and I've got a couple of beans on the line with me. Tonight we have Cracker. How's it going, mate?
Good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Pretty good. And we've also got Stu back again. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, you've got me off the couch. I'm here, ready to go.
Just telling us how you're going to fall asleep halfway through the recording of this podcast.
It's very important that you all know ahead of time that I'm pretty trashed, but it's okay.
I promise we'll talk about exciting things.
Yeah.
There's
heaps of exciting things on the thing to talk about tonight.
In the last 2 weeks, I've had like 5 6 a.m. starts an hour away from home, so it's finally catching up with me, I think.
Mate, time for a new job.
But I get home early.
He fails to mention that he's home at like 2 o'clock or whatever every day.
True.
So yeah,
and in all that time that I'm home, I don't even have a nap.
Yeah, it's like our good friend who is a baker or pastry chef or whatever he is that starts work at 4 a.m. but he's home at 1 o'clock every day or whatever. It's all relative. You go to bed pretty early, don't you?
It's usually about 10:30 these days. Is that early? I don't know.
Yeah, it's early for me.
Yeah, same. That's all right. Mind you, Shorty, your bedtime might be getting earlier. Happy birthday for yesterday, mate.
Happy birthday, yes. Shorty.
Thank you. I am old. I'm getting old.
You're an old bean.
Not quite at the 40, although my daughter's been telling me for this entire year, basically since the start of the year, hey, Dad, you're 40 next year. It's like, wow. Yeah, thanks. I'm not even 39 yet, but yes, you are correct.
That's such a classic kid thing, though. They're always like, in 2 years' time, Daddy, I'm going to be 13.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
don't worry.
but let's get to 11 and 12 first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes. So 39, nearly as old and geese as Chewy, who's already hit that big 40. But yeah, maybe I might have to start bringing that bedtime a little bit earlier. Probably not likely to happen.
No,
I don't think.
Seems unlikely.
No. Yep. Anyway, we're not here to talk about bedtimes. We're here to talk about Magic the Gathering. That is the name of the game that we play. And there's a place that you can pick up some absolute bargains if you want to buy yourself some Magic cards. So, Stu, do you want to tell us about that place?
Absolutely. Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar. You find them on Facebook. They are an auction site on Facebook selling all manner of Magic cards, from the latest sets to, what did I see? Beautiful Wheel of Time recently on there. Didn't see Cracker bit on that because he's already got one. But yeah, look, they're on Facebook. You can search them up, Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar. You can type their website in jpmtgbazaar.com.au, which will direct you straight to the Facebook page. As I said, auctions every night. If you win, just tell them that the Bean sent you.
Very good. All right, so we do have a few things to talk about tonight. There's a topic that none of us are super excited about that we'll get into, which, surprise, is Alchemy, the Alchemy format. But before we get into that, we had a surprise announcement on Monday this week, and Cracker, you are the man with the voice for the announcements. So we got some bannings.
We did.
Bannings this week. Do you want to...
Surprise bannings.
Yeah. Tell us all about these.
Yeah. So in Pioneer, Lurrus of the Dream Den is banned. In Modern, Lurrus of the Dream Den is banned. In Pauper, Galvanic Relay is banned. Disciple of the Vault is banned. And Expedition Map is unbanned. I am a little bit sad about Lurrus bans, I got to tell you.
You're sad?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Dude,
I think Lurrus you're probably one of the only people in the world.
I know, but hang on. No. Maybe, but also no. Have you played with that card, Shorty? It is...
Oh, I have played a modern tournament where we played 4 rounds and I never once remembered to put my Lurrus in my hand.
Yes, so he has never played Lurrus, is what we're hearing.
Okay. Look, the play patterns are just so much fun. I mean, they're obnoxious. I think it's absolutely the right thing to do, but doesn't mean I can't be sad about it. Like, I loved Lurrus. I love its time in Standard.
Yes.
I think that the matches are really interesting. And yes, everyone's like, oh, but you can't play spells over 3. I mean, you can. You can play 3 CMC spells. You're just wrong. And newsflash, you're probably still just wrong if you start jamming 3, 4, and 5 drops in your, Grixis Shadow deck. Like, Gurmag Angler isn't a 6-drop, people. Just saying. Just like Treasure Cruise wasn't an 8-drop. Anyway.
Yes, but you could play them for 1 mana.
Yeah, that's my point.
When you've got a Lurrus, you can't.
No, I know, exactly. But no, I understand. But what I'm saying is, don't just look. I think that lower curves in Modern is just where we're at now, right? Like,
yeah, that's just the Modern format.
Well, but everyone's complaint was, oh, no, you can't play anything with CMC over 3. It's like, yeah, you probably shouldn't have been anyway.
It's mana value, Cracker.
Oh, sorry. You're right. Well, anyway, Lurrus is banned everywhere.
If you're going to do that, like, annoying voice or whatever, at least make sure you're correct when you're saying what you're saying.
I'm old as well, and I've been playing since damage went on the stack, right?
Yes. All right, so yeah.
Anyway,
Lurrus ban in Modern, I think most people were expecting this to happen at some point. Either a ban to Lurrus or a complete, like, companion mechanic ban or something along those lines, but it's very much been the writings on the wall in the Modern format that Lurrus is a problem. And like you said, Cracker, the Modern format is generally really low mana costs, and that's pretty normal, but Lurrus just really, when you played it correctly and you remembered to put it into your hand and put it on the battlefield and then get some value from it, it was just super powerful, and it was something that you always had access to. And so it was just such a strong incentive to play cards that are mana value 2 or less. So to the point where it just warped the format, and that's just what all the decks became.
So Lurrus was running at a play rate of 31% in Magic Online League decks. That's a lot, right? Oh, that started with 4 wins, so that's a lot.
Yeah. So I think the rate is more like 35%. Like,
overall?
I think the Goldfish guys have sort of said that their numbers have shown that it's more like 35%.
So with that in mind...
Which is huge for Modern.
With that in mind, every second deck list I've seen in regards to Modern has Ragavan. So when are we seeing a Ragavan ban? What's going on?
Well, you have to draw Ragavan as opposed to just...
It's true. It's true.
So if you had Lurrus just as a card in your deck, which is the thing you can still do, by the way.
It is.
That's yes. Perfectly... Not when you have Lurrus as a companion, but...
well, not now that it's banned,
well,
but yes.
Anymore.
No, you can't do
not
it now.
Anymore.
Yeah.
Rip.
Why don't they just errata the companion bit?
They did.
No, but even further. Like,
they made Lurrus cost 6 and no one cared.
Yeah, but I'd be interested to see if Lurrus without companion at all was still a problem. I mean, obviously it wouldn't be the same problem, but it'd be cool to be interesting to see what it's like.
Yeah, and that was something that a lot of people were suggesting, because if you take away the companion mechanic, all of a sudden you can still play Lurrus, but you can now play it in decks with other cards that are, higher mana value and all that sort of thing. So
yeah.
It opens up a whole bunch of deck building options, but still allows you to play the cards that you own.
So maybe they need to make an Alchemy for Modern.
No. Stu,
right. Well, it's been really nice having you on the cast again, Stu.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
I hope you've had a special good time. Go have a nap. And that's... Wow. I mean, I thought my take of I miss Lurrus already was bad, but man. They tried that, Stu. It's called Pioneer. Didn't work either.
Yeah. So yeah, in Modern, I think this was expected, and I think this is, as most people have said, by banning Lurrus, you've unbanned a whole swath of cards.
Yeah.
And whether that actually shakes out or not, it forces people to now look at their decks and go, okay, well, now I can put Liliana of the Veil if I want to put Liliana of the Veil back in my deck or whatever. Like, now I can build these decks, and I'm now looking at Death Shadow going, oh well, I loved playing the Jund version of Death Shadow that was all in on Team of Battle Rage and Become Immense and that sort of thing. So now is that something that I could start playing again and whatever. So yeah, it just opens up the format by quite a bit, which is good to see. I think that's a positive thing, and I think most people are expecting that.
Yeah, it's just interesting that it's been a while since they've done a surprise ban like this. They've been kind of announcing them and people have been expecting them. But even though this is not unexpected now, we have it in hand, I think the timing was unexpected. So
yeah,
that's
definitely.
Cool.
Yep. So obviously we've still got Yorion. Yorion's still not super heavily played, but is played. Like there's some control decks to play Yori on, and there's like a 4-color Omnath deck that plays Yori on as well, and a few sort of blink decks, so that'll still see some play, but I don't think that's too oppressive, and it's kind of, its restriction is you have to put more cards in your deck, not you can only put these certain type of cards. Kahira sees a little bit of play, mainly in control decks, just because it's free, effectively, because you're playing decks without creatures, so that one's fine, and the rest of them basically don't see play, so I think we're not going to see too much complaint about the rest of the companions being in the format. It would have been nice to have seen them actually try doing an errata. You know, they've already errated the cards once, the companion mechanic once. Why not just try and do it again? And maybe they just went, you know what, we can't trust ourselves to get it right, so let's just ban the card that's a problem.
Yeah, the constant thought process behind these things is there'll be something that they print at some point that will just make it broken. It's like
Ragavan.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, exactly. You know, there's just lots of, you know, different things that they can, because not just creatures, you can cast anything you want.
Yeah.
Permanents from your graveyard. So, yeah, Shorty, you were just talking about putting it in your deck, and I had visions of casting a Bloodbraid Elf, cascading into a Lurrus, and then casting a Bauble from our graveyard. And that sounded pretty great. That sounds like a pretty good too. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. But, yeah, exactly like you sort of touched on there. A card like Birthing Pod is, you know, people are always saying, you know, you can unban Birthing Pod, it's not a problem. You know, decks are way more powerful than that now, but you unban it and then there will be something that gets printed at some point that breaks it again, and then you've got to ban it again and whatever. So they seem to be pretty careful with that. I think they learnt that with the Golgari Grave Troll.
Yeah, that's the one.
They unbanned it for like 2 months and went, whoa, no, yep, that's a bit too powerful for Dredge, so let's put that back on the ban list. And yeah. The banning in Pioneer, so Lurrus banning Pioneer, when we did our Pioneer focused episode, I don't remember Lurrus being massively played, but maybe this is one of those sort of preemptive things of, okay, Pioneer at some point Lurrus will become a problem.
Yeah, pretty much. That's actually
like that?
That's their logic. That's what they said in the announcement. It's less, but same thing. They're just, yeah, if we're going to ban Lurrus in one place, let's just do it in a bunch. It was played in the, Orzhov Aura's deck is one of the places I can think of that saw it a fair bit. So, yeah, it's obviously around. It's a powerful thing. Yep.
And Pauper, none of us really pay much attention to Pauper or play Pauper, but they've got the Pauper committee, advisory committee or whatever they're called now, that are looking at this sort of stuff. So obviously they're paying a bit more attention and going, okay, well, wasn't Map banned not that long ago in like the last ban announcement, or was it some other stuff?
No, that was some other stuff.
Okay.
That was like prismatic something or other. I think it was the color fixer. So they basically, last time they took away a bunch of pieces from Tron, and they also took away ATOG from Affinity.
Yep.
But they've obviously hit Affinity again with Disciple of the Vault. That's where that one's played. And then they've also hit Storm with Galvanic Relay.
Surprise, surprise. Every Storm card seems to get banned in Pauper. There's just too many cards that work, like, because most of the like rituals and things like that are common. So yeah, Storm's sort of always been a problem in Pauper, and this is just the latest one. This was from Modern Horizons 2, I think, this card, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. You could just say Storm has always been a problem and finish the sentence there.
Yes,
you don't have to specify that it's Pauper.
And yet they still make new Storm cards. So.
I know. It's fun.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So I would assume that we're trusting in the Pauper committee, and that's some good bans and unbans for the Pauper community. Modern, I think that's a really good ban. Good to see Lurrus out of there, and everything I've been listening to this week, everyone's pretty happy with that. I haven't seen anyone on Twitter or anything like that complaining about it. And the other good thing with the Lurrus ban is people only owned one copy, and it was only worth like $10. So it's not like you just banned Ragavan and people have lost $500 of Ragavans or whatever. So that's not a huge problem. Good to see that they are paying some sort of attention to Pioneer. So we're to get a banning in that format. Hopefully we will see that format on Arena in the near future. So we had another announcement, I guess it was. There was a stream or something along those lines for the next set. You know, we've only just had Neon Dynasty come out, and already we're looking at stuff for the new set, which is Streets of New Capenna, which is the Art Deco gangster mob theme set that we sort of heard announced last year. And yeah, they had a bit of a stream, and they've released all the various bits of art and what the
set symbols and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yep. So we've got all that stuff, but yeah, they've released some cards. So we've got some fancy lands. What do you guys think of these lands? So we've got the basic lands there. We've got full art lands back again. What do you think of these?
They look incredible.
Yeah, you like them?
I really like them. Yeah.
Okay. What do you reckon, Cracker?
I'm just looking at them again now, and a mix. I think some of them look awesome, and some of them are just like, whew, there's a bit much going on there, or
a little bit busy,
or not enough in other spots. Like
the mountains,
the swamp is a bit meh.
Yeah,
the cathedral mountain is crazy, but I really like the movie poster style mountain. I think that looks cool.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I think it looks great.
They're interesting.
Pretty interesting for sure. Worth checking out. Art Deco is like a really cool theme, I think. Like if they can kind of pull off this mobster New York kind of thing, well, should be a nice visual delight and very different to what we're doing right now.
Yeah, totally different genre or style to what we're currently in with Neon Dynasty. So I'm not I love gangster stuff. Like Sopranos is my favorite TV show ever. Love gangster stuff, Godfather, all that sort of thing. But I actually don't like the art style of the Art Deco style. I don't know why. That's all right. It's not really what I'm interested in.
It's almost as if art is subjective.
Whoa.
Oh, yes.
There's a hot take we can all get on board with.
So they've released the names of the gangs or the families.
The families. Yeah, the 5 families.
So, Stu, what are the names and the colours that we've got?
So we have Obscura, which is white, blue, black, 3 colours. So we then have the Maestros, blue, black, red. The Riveteers, nice little hammer and whatever. Anvil, that's what that's called thing there. They are black, red, and green. Cabaretti, sounds like a pizza. Red, green, and white. And
with the Italian flag colours.
And the Brokers, which are green, white, and blue. So, obviously, with 3 colour families, it lends itself to possibly some new lands. And by new lands, I mean the completion of another set of lands. But I don't know what to call them. Are we just going to call them tricoloured lands?
They're triumphs, mate.
They should be. They absolutely should be. But they've not called them that, and that upsets me.
They are tricolour lands. They are.
Yep.
That
not
is
triumphs, tricolour lands.
Just wrong. It's the
triumphs, guys.
It's the Naya triome, the Grixis triome, the Jund triome, the Bant triome, and the Esper triome.
Yeah.
We saw this obviously with Strixhaven that had the colour pairs again. With the new, Quandrix and Prismari and that sort of stuff. And you just can't, even Wizards couldn't even stick to it. They would still call deck lists is it dragons and things like that. And it's not even going with their own naming convention. It's just too ingrained. And I think, your Bant and your Naya and your Jund and those sorts of things, they're just too ingrained. And when it's names like Bant, Jund, Naya, 4-letter names, you're going to remember them over, what was it?
Yep.
Brokers and Cabaretti and Riveteer. There's no way people are going to refer to them as those sorts of things. But yeah, the lands, the interesting thing with the lands, so they're not triomes. The lands in Ikoria were triomes because they were referring to actual lands, like a biome or that sort of thing. It is a triome.
Uh-huh.
Whereas these are referring to actual places within the New Capenna city or whatever. So what do you want to read out the names we've got here, Stu?
So Jetmare's Garden, Raffine's Tower, Spara's Headquarters, Xander's Lounge, and Ziatora's Proving Ground. We've literally got a boxing ring on a magic card. That's awesome.
Yeah. Never understood why it's called a boxing ring when it's not a ring, it's square.
It's a square. The boxing square.
Yeah. But yeah, the other thing that's weird with this is they're not, brokers something.
Yeah.
Brokers Tower and Cabaretti headquarters and things. So
So are these the heads of each house or?
Yeah, it'll be the mob leader for each one, right? Which is cool.
Yeah,
so it means it'll tie to, the 3-color legend you expect for each of these families.
The 3-color legend. Now, what's that? That's alluding to something here, right? Did I hear something about the head of each house is a particular type of creature? Or is that?
Yes, that's my understanding. So there's, they did say, I think it was in the video. I don't think it's in the actual article.
Yeah,
I remember
it's in the article.
Like Grixis, not Grixis. Let me find it. The Maestros are vampires. I know that the brokers are demons, which seems weird.
Yeah, Bant colour for demons.
How interesting is that?
Instead of Grixis demons, which makes a lot more sense, or Esper. Anyway, whatever.
Breaking the colour pie.
Wow, that's always fun. But yeah, so I think there will be specific races or whatever you want to call it for each of the houses.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
But yeah, good to see this land cycle completed in pretty timely fashion. Like, we only just lost Ikoria from Standard not that long ago. So, yeah, pretty recent. Like we've seen in the past, things like fetch lands and things like that just took so many years to have the cycles completed. And now we've got the full set, which obviously, for Commander and other formats, having these sorts of lands and these tri-lands or triomes, they are just such good lands to have. They've got the 3 basic land types on them, and having that cycling ability on them is just so good. So yeah, definitely looking forward to having these back in Standard again. They should be very widely played and often played. Even if you're just playing a blue-black deck, you will often play the blue-black-red triome just as a dual land that cycles. So they are quite powerful. I'm not a huge fan of the alternate art styles on these ones.
Yeah. As in because there's 3 sets of art.
Yeah, the full art ones I don't like. The other ones I don't like the border, but I do like the art.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, personal preference. And then we had 1 card previewed from the set. So, Stu, do you want to read out what that one is?
We are getting ascendancies back, or more ascendancies, boys. And this one that was announced was Broker's Ascendancy, which is green, white, blue. And it's an enchantment. And at the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and a loyalty counter on each planeswalker you control. So
I think
there you go.
one Polywaffle's pretty excited to put this in one of his Super Friends Commander decks.
Stu's got a Traxxer as well.
It's pulled apart.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It is. Okay. I'm all in on squirrels at the moment.
Just love squirrel gripping people.
Whoa.
How good's the rhino in the art? And
so there's there's the normal art, and then there's the alternate art, which I just cannot even look at.
I mean, it depends if you like Picasso's or not.
Yeah. But yeah, cool to have Ascendancies back. We saw these in Khan's block, which we had the other colours of. So this is completing a cycle as well.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But yeah, like Jeskai Ascendancy is a card that was super powerful in a lot of different formats and still is played a bit in Pioneer. I've played a ton of that card in various janky decks, but yeah, it'd be cool to see how they go with them and if they do manage to make anything good, because they're often like a combo piece or something you can put into a deck and build around and be quite powerful. So that'll be cool to see. But plenty more to come for new Capenna. The official preview season starts on April the 7th, and then the set releases on April the 28th with the pre-release the week before, which I think you guys spoke about last week. So we're still a month away before we get more previews, but no doubt there'll be something that comes out between now and then anyway.
What's interesting is how condensed the preview season is. It's like it's a week or 10 days or something crazy.
Yeah.
So they're really changing up how they do it instead of, because previously we've seen like 2 weeks, even 2.5 week long preview seasons, but they're just cramming this one in.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, but
I guess
just show me the
sort of
cards. Let's go.
helps prevent leaks and
does it?
things like that, I guess.
It's just longer to look at the leaks, mate. I think you got that backwards.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see when we get there, and I believe the new Capenna set will have the commander decks tied to it as well. So I'm assuming we'll get 5 commander decks, one for each of those families as well. That'll be tied to that. So more commander cards coming your way. All right. So the other big thing we want to talk about tonight is we have a set championship on this weekend. Did you guys know? Were you guys aware that there is a Pro Tour level event on this weekend?
I didn't know about it until I read the show notes tonight at 8 o'clock.
I did know about it.
Because it's been on our show notes for a few weeks as a reminder of this is what's going up.
Like, it's just, I don't know. I just want these to be good, and they're just not.
Yeah. So I was doing the show notes a bit earlier today, and I thought, I'll find the article and I'll find all the information, and it should all be on the Wizards side or on the magic.gg site and all that sort of thing. I just could not find anything about this event. Like, you go on the magic.gg site and it's like, set championship, cool, and you go there and it's like, there is no info here. There's not even something that says what the formats are. Oh, actually, no, I lied. There is, like an image that says Neon Dynasty Set Championship, and it's on these dates, and it says Alchemy and Historic constructed. That's it. No prize pool. No, this is when coverage starts. No article about this is how the rounds are going to work and all that. There was just nothing. It was like, what is wrong with you, Wizards?
Well, they've given up on premier events in case you didn't know. So they've got this wonderful tool. It's called Arena, and it's actually got like scrolling banners on the main page of images of things that they could like promote, like massive event this weekend, watch in client. I mean, obviously that's like a stretch. We're never going to get an in client thing, but they could give us can't give us a link either. That'd be too hard. They could tell you it existed. It's just, I don't know, man. It's depressing that
it is.
The coverage is this bad.
Yep. So yeah, we have seen these set championships before. Obviously, they've been doing them with every set, or after the set's released, that sort of thing. And they are, I guess, the equivalent of what used to be Pro Tours and then became Players Tours and that sort of thing. So they are the premier level event that feeds into the World Championships. So they're pretty hard to qualify for. You have to make like top 1200 Mythic and then play in a qualifier weekend and then qualify from that for the set championship. So
what's Mythic?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been there. So Cracker and I are both bronze 1. So.
Yeah, buddy. That's the highest I've been in a while.
I think I'm gold 2 at the moment. Wow.
But yeah, so it takes a bit to get there. And the competition you're playing against, you are playing against still the current MPL and Rivals members that do still exist currently. So you're playing against stiff competition. So it's no mean task to get there. So there's 233 players. There's 450 grand in the prize pool. And like, if you come dead last,
that's way more than PTs used to be. PTs used to be like 2 to 250. For the
I remember when
ones.
they were like 100.
Yeah.
Like 100 grand. It was like first prize is 15 grand. You're like, oh, wow. That's huge. Yeah, if you come last in this event, you get $750. And this is all played on Arena from your home. So just by qualifying for this thing, you've got $750 in your pocket. No worries. So it's pretty good. Like the value's pretty good.
Well, I mean, you've probably spent at least that on Alchemy cards though.
So true.
I know.
I have nothing else to say to that. It's like, yeah, that's
sorry.
Best case scenario, you might break even. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
Best case scenario, yep. So yeah, like 6 people from this will qualify for Worlds as well. So they're playing for quite a lot. And it is a big event despite Wizards not putting any effort into promoting it or anything along those lines. So it's effectively the same as what we've seen before. There's 8 rounds of Historic, 7 rounds of Alchemy. They're split. They'll do like 3 rounds of one and then 5 of another, and then vice versa or whatever the next day. And then the top 8 is also Alchemy. So this is like Wizards' first big Alchemy event. They had, I think, the qualifier weekend that qualified for this set championship was Alchemy. That was sort of the first thing that they ran it on. And then this is the first, well, here's our fancy new format. Here's Alchemy. We're going to showcase it and all that sort of thing. So are you excited about this event?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Stu's falling asleep.
Yeah. Night, Stu.
But like as Cracker said before the show when we were just talking about it, it's like we want this to do well. We do want this to do well, but
do we?
I'm not excited about it. Well, it's just Magic. I just want Magic to do well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, the interest I have in it is pretty low.
So we will have a bit of a look at the Alchemy metagame. We'll have a quick look at the historic metagame. We did sort of go into historic in a fair bit of depth recently, so we probably don't need to touch on that too much. But before we get into that, you know, as we've just said, none of us are really all that excited about this event. Let's just talk about the Alchemy format. So, you know, when I was looking at doing the show notes, yeah, it's like, all right, I'll look up the Neon Dynasty Championship. And so the first thing that pops up is an article from Wizards from this week with big headings of what is Alchemy and then why is Alchemy?
That's the real question right there.
in their articles. So before we, you know, start ragging on Alchemy, like, we'll just sort of retouch on what Alchemy actually is. So this got announced, 2 months ago, something along those lines. It was start of this year, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
They announced Alchemy, but so Alchemy was meant to be fixed standard. So they were taking the current standard format, all the sets that are currently legal in standard, and they were rebalancing some of the problematic cards. So cards like Auron's Epiphany, Divide by Zero, Faceless Haven, Omnath, those sorts of cards that have proven to be very strong and have either, you know, been too strong and had to be banned or are just oppressive in the format, and they've rebalanced them in one way or another, you know, tweaked numbers or adjusted when triggers happen and those sorts of things to power them down a little bit in the format. They've then taken a bunch of other cards that they see as underpowered and buffed them very minorly in most cases and made basically no difference. And then they, for whatever reason, so that all sounded good, sounded like a good idea.
Yeah, great idea.
And,
Love the
and
concept.
that, if that's what the format was, that would have had me excited. And it's like, yeah, okay, why would I bother playing standard when I can just play this version of standard that doesn't have all those problematic cards? Then they decided, for whatever reason, to add 60 extra cards when they first released Alchemy that were digital-only cards that were somehow tied into the current standard set. And so these were cards that had the, like, Seek mechanic and Perpetual and those sorts of things, and just added them in on top of standard. And so rather than having slightly fixed standard, it's now almost a new format that's not that different from standard. They then announced that they were going to then be releasing more Alchemy-only cards with each set. So every new set that comes out has an Alchemy set that ties in with that. So we have in a couple, I think in 2 weeks' time, there's going to be the Neon Dynasty Alchemy release, which is going to be 30 cards. And then when Streets of New Capenna comes out, there's going to be another 30 odd cards for Alchemy that release on there. And I don't get it.
So I do understand it, right? I get it. I think that no, the intention isn't even good. I understand why they're doing it, and the thing that tilts me the most about it is that they've just gone, by the way, there's a whole stack of rares and mythics in here.
I like that you were just about to...
I was trying to think of something positive.
Like you really tried.
I tried, Stu. I did.
I had my mic muted just for a second there while I was having a drink of water. I nearly spat it everywhere. Even when you try to just, like, get your head around it, I don't know.
Yeah, so these cards you can only get, so these Alchemy only cards, you can buy Alchemy packs on Arena that cost the same as normal packs, but those packs aren't chockers full of Alchemy cards. They're just packs that can contain some Alchemy cards, and you still get, like, normal standard cards in there. And there's rares and mythics and uncommons for no reason. It'll break
the limited format, Shorty. It'll break draft if everyone's got these bomb mythics.
The whole purpose of rares and mythics and uncommons is for the limited format, as you're saying, Cracker, so that you can have a balanced limited format. And there is no way to draft these cards. Why are there mythics and rares?
Maybe they're future-proofing. Maybe they... No, it's all right. Just did the same thing.
You tried. It was a noble effort.
I tried.
It is because then they make more money. And that is just the sad reality of this.
And again, look, I'm not going to begrudge a company wanting to make money. It's just...
They made $1 billion last year. I think that's enough.
Yeah. First time they've made over $1 billion. That's a lot. But yeah, it doesn't make much sense. And so obviously all these things, we're having a good laugh about it, but all of these things have led to this format just not being adopted.
Well, as Cracker and Chewy, talked about last week on the show, just the amount of games being played in Alchemy is so low.
It's like a tenth of standard.
Yeah.
That
tells me all I need to know.
Yeah. And yeah, so it's...
Imagine the queue times.
Like I was looking, obviously we've got our Kamigawa League going on at the moment, and I listened to the podcast last week, try and work out what deck I was going to play. Chewy told me to play Blue White Control, and I said, not playing that. So I'm trying to work out what deck I'm going to play. I've basically got enough wildcards to build like one deck, or most of a deck, or whatever. But that's it. And that's going to use up effectively all of my rares and a fair chunk of my mythics. How on earth would I afford to then play Alchemy stuff where there's a whole bunch of extra? Not only do I need the new Kamigawa Neon Dynasty cards, I then need the Neon Dynasty Alchemy cards on top of that. Like,
you forgot the most important card, Shorty. The Master card.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not free to play. Like, I don't put heaps of money in, but
no.
I put $50 in every now and then. But I'm definitely not looking at this going, I'm never going to put money in. I've put money into Arena, and admittedly, I haven't played that much over the last few months, but there is no way I could have possibly afford to get into this format. It's insane.
Well, you say that, but here we are looking at the top listed deck on the Wizards website, and it's got no Alchemy cards in it.
Oh, Forsaken Crossroads.
It's got a land.
Three
Alchemy cards.
Which thankfully are...
probably don't.
Oh, no, they're rare. Sorry, no, never mind. I thought they were uncommon. I'm thinking...
Hang on. Stu, how could you tell that they're rares?
I had to go to another website.
I'm looking on the main Wizards site where they have all their cards listed that, when you hover over them, they show you the card from Gatherer. And I hover over Forsaken Crossroads and I get nothing. And these cards are listed in the other category. And then when we scroll down, we've got cards listed such as a Hullbreaker that I can't hover over in the other category. What the hell, Wizards? How can you not get this stuff sorted?
It's pretty funny.
Oh my goodness. Like I've generally tried to be pretty positive and supportive of Wizards, but this, like, looking at this stuff today was just like, seriously, what is going on? How can you expect anybody to take this format seriously when you can't even let people hover over your deck lists in your main Alchemy primer to tell people what's all about this set championship, and you can't even look at the cards that are in there? Goodness me. I've done a lot of ranting. Someone else have a turn.
Oh, I'm hurting. I'm sorry, I've just been laughing.
I don't know. Look, I feel sorry for the players that have qualified for this. Like, I've seen people on Twitter saying, there's everyone kind of out going, oh, I wish there was like premier events and all this sort of stuff. And they're like, I'm submitting deck lists for the largest tournament I've ever played in. And the largest a lot of people will have ever played in, right? Like, this is huge prize pool. And like everyone, like none of the content creators, none of the pros that I follow, like no one cares.
No one's talking about it.
Except for the 200 people that are playing in it, right?
Right, so what we've got...
I feel sorry for them that, they're forced to do this.
Yeah.
And like, it's just seen as a joke, as a format, and as an event. It's just kind of, yeah.
But it's historic as well, right? How are they doing it? Is it historic first, then Alchemy, or what's the go here?
It's a mix over both days.
Yeah, it's a mix. Okay. Mix on both days. Yep.
Just do away with Alchemy and let's just go historic. That's a format that we all can get behind.
Yeah, and let's not
historic
have
does contain the Alchemy cards.
Yeah, can we just fix that too?
Yes.
Like, let's not have the errated cards in historic.
Yes.
It just doesn't make sense.
But yeah, as you mentioned, like, people just aren't talking about this event. I've listened to every Magic podcast that I would normally listen to up to this point in the week, and not one of them have done a focus on Alchemy this week. Like, just nobody cares.
I mean, Shorty, even you said just before when we started this topic that you had to do some digging to even find information about it on the Wizards website. Like, they're not even promoting it very well.
No, I mean, this article is titled The Neon Dynasty Championship Alchemy Primer, and it doesn't even mention once the prize pool. Like, there's a graphic that shows when the event is on and the coverage is on, and there's a graphic of the broadcast team, but doesn't mention anything about MPL or rivals playing in it or anything like that, or 450 grand prize pool. Like, wow. It is shocking and extremely disappointing. But yeah, this format, I don't know what they're going to do with it. I don't know. I could very easily see them in 6 months' time. We get a couple of sets down the track and Wizards just go, you know what? This format's just not working.
Our bad.
This format's dead. Yep, sorry. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just say, our bad, see ya. And then there's be a huge outrage of people going, I've spent all my wildcards, whatever. And then they roll it back and go, by the way, we were always going to give you back your wildcards for the alchemy cards that you crafted. Yeah.
Test those waters first. Let's see how far we can, how much we can get away with.
People get.
I reckon they do that, but they run a sweepstakes on how much outcry there is until they have to roll it back. So they just, that's actually all it is.
I'll tell you what.
Let's try and be something about this.
Yeah.
Are we going to watch it? There will be, all trolling aside and whatever, there will actually be some really good Magic, and the coverage team is excellent. The people that are actually running the event, Wizards put on a good show. We've always said that, and I still believe that is true.
Yeah,
even
100%.
If they don't tell anyone when the show is on. So. Are you guys excited to see Naya Runes and Gruul Werewolves and stuff? Are there any lists that you can kind of see in that metagame that are interesting to you?
I mean, it's not that different to standard, in reality, and we were sort of talking about it before, there's a few alchemy cards that have shown up. It just sort of feels like, they nerfed your Elrond's Epiphanies and your Omnats and those sorts of cards, but nerfed them to the point where they're now no longer playable. And so effectively you've just banned them anyway. So it's the same as what you've got in standard, where you've banned those cards and you've just could have sort of taken the top off the format, and so then you can play all the other stuff. And if we look at the sort of list of decks that are getting played, the number one deck is Naya Runes, which
with
is
an almost
90%
expected win rate.
Yes, that is phenomenal. We're looking on MTGA Zone, and they've got Tier 1 Naya Runes, 89.71% expected win rate. Wowzers.
I don't know where they pulled that from.
No, I don't know how they calculate that either. But yeah, you got Naya Runes, you got Mono Green Aggro, Gruul Werewolves. I don't think that's a deck that we really see in standard, and that is playing a few alchemy cards. But
so I actually went up against that last week. There was the Alchemy midweek event.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Chewy suggested that as an opportunity to test out some decks that we wanted to play in the standard in our league. So I did exactly that, and I played against this Gruul Werewolves deck, and it seems pretty good. It's got some power, and it was hurting me quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's got we've got Rahilda, which is an alchemy card. What else have we got? Townraiser Tyrant, which they've had to nerf twice to get it right, and it's still pretty powerful. So a few alchemy cards.
Probably the deck with the most alchemy cards in it.
Yeah, most likely. Yep. Oh, Tenacious Pup is the other one that's from Alchemy. So
I think Mono Red Dragons is probably the most alchemy of the cards, right? Or decks.
Mono Red Dragons. Okay.
Yeah. With fearsome whelps and stuff like that.
Is it even on this metagame list?
Not in the official Wizards one, but it's in the other one we're looking at.
Is it? I can't see it. I see Mono Red Aggro.
Yeah.
It's there somewhere.
Is it just Dragons?
It's not going to be that different to standard. I wouldn't think. There's going to be a few different cards. There's the digital only alchemy cards that have the digital only mechanics, as we mentioned before. So you're going to see a bit more of that RNG type stuff. So it will probably be interesting to watch, but I guess we're probably not really even going to go really into this metagame. It's sort of not worth doing, because
just play runes.
Just play runes. The other thing that is ridiculous with this that Wizards just keeps doing is they put these tournaments on, and then in a week and a bit's time, we've got an Alchemy release for this format. So any decks that you look at now in a week and a half's time are going to be defunct because there's going to be a whole bunch of new Alchemy cards coming in, and probably a bunch of changes to cards and rebalancing and things like that. So
my head hurts.
Yeah, it's just pretty crazy. So anyway, yeah, like when Alchemy was first announced, my initial thoughts was, okay, this is cool. It's going to be fixed standard. Yep, I'm sweet. I'll get on board with that. Then when we heard about all the extra cards, couldn't get on board with that. And then when they then just went and banned cards in standard anyway, it's like, well, what is the purpose of this format? And no one's been able to really understand what it's there for. So anyway, that's Alchemy. Obviously, we're disappointed with it and not that excited. So, Historic, Cracker.
Yes.
What are we going to see in Historic?
John Sacrifice.
Yep.
Is it Phoenix?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Yep. That's about it. Some control decks, I imagine. No. Yeah, I think that the metagame hasn't really changed since the last time we spoke. You know, it's a more powerful format. You may see rogues kicking about. They picked up a few cards with some of the ninjas, a lot of the ninjas rogues, or some of the Lord's Pump rogues as well. So maybe you'll see some flash stuff getting in there, but I wouldn't expect to see kind of a huge amount there.
Yeah. Is it Phoenix is always kicking around. It's always one of the most powerful decks in Historic, thanks to having access to Faithless Looting. So yeah, I'd definitely be keen to see some bin chickens and some food decks getting around, as I've played quite a lot of those. There are some Lurus decks. There is an Auras deck in Historic that does play Lurus. But yeah, pretty diverse metagame, as we've spoken about in the past. It's a fairly good format. Like it's a fun format. It feels like Modern on Arena. You know, it's got a bunch of cards that are in Modern. It's got a bunch of cards that have never been printed in Modern that are quite powerful. And there's a lot of sets printed into there. So it's quite diverse with some pretty cool decks. But yeah, I might tune in for the coverage. Maybe. I think
there's
most of us are going to be away
to skip this time.
Yeah, that's good. Yep.
It's this weekend? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Yep. So it's on this weekend. So I think it starts on Saturday. I think for us it starts Friday 9 a.m. PST, which I think will be Friday night for us. Maybe.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yep. And yeah, good coverage team. So yeah. Should be good to watch.
I want to see someone go with the Esper Greasefang deck, where they're bringing back Parhelions and just tanning people on turn 2 or whatever that is. That if I see that on camera and like just crushing some fools, I would be very happy with that. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, and that's one of the cool things with the Historic format is you do get those funky combo decks that are, you know, like Jeskai Creativity and things like that are just sort of, they're off the wall, but they're actually quite powerful. And when they do their thing, they're quite powerful. And, you know, like I've been tinkering with that, the mono red Storm deck with Bergie and that in Historic, and it can be crazy powerful when it goes off, but it also can just do stone cold nothing. So yeah, which is what you get in Modern as well. It's, you know, you get those decks that are nuts and go off, and your opponent's going, oh man, how could I ever beat that? And then the next game they just crush you because your deck does nothing.
That's it. It's like the Is It Creativity deck where you're like, I'm going to spin my 2 crab tokens into a Locust God and a Sage of the Falls and draw my deck. Kill you with hasty flyers until the turn you're going to go off, and then you draw your Locust God, and you're like, well,
my plan doesn't work.
Foiled again, because there's no more brainstorm to put it back on top. Unlucky.
All right, so if we were to pick decks to play this weekend, what are we playing in Alchemy? If we've got the unlimited wildcards, are we all just playing Naya Runes because it's apparently got a 90% expected win rate?
I would be, because that's what I've been playing instead.
Yep. How's it going for you in standard, actually?
It's really good.
Yep.
It's really good.
It does seem pretty strong.
I find it lacks a little bit in interaction, but generally speaking, you're kind of just playing to storm off and do your own thing anyway, so it's great.
Nice. What would you play in Alchemy, Cracker?
It's a good question. Probably Naya Runes. Or something that you thought would beat Naya Runes and you feel smart and then lose to it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I've got a 100% win rate against Naya Runes, and then you play Naya Runes 4 rounds in a row and lose every time.
Yeah,
that's generally how it goes.
Yeah,
or you,
exactly.
You never play Naya Runes and you lose to everything else.
What about you, Shorty? What are you sleeving up in Alchemy?
Yeah, same thing. I can't go past a 90% expected win rate, however they possibly come up with that number.
I don't know, man, because I'm scrolling down here and I can see in Tier 4 they've got Jeskai Dragons, which has got a 60% expected win rate. So, like, where are these numbers coming from?
Who knows?
It's just all right, mate. Just go mill 62.5%.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I've played against that deck a bunch of times on ladder. Sorry, just as a segue in standard, the is it mill combo thing where they're just like double spelling the Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Yeah. I had no idea that there are so many fork effects in standard at the moment. There's like 3 different ones.
It also turns out they can mill the runes deck in one turn quite easily. I've been everything is so low cost. It's just like, game over. Thank you.
Yep. And the runes deck does draw a lot of cards.
It does.
So you're already sort of helping their cause. But yeah, I have seen that mill deck getting around. I'm quite interested to play that actually.
Yeah.
I might have to look
There's
that
a lot of rare wild cards in there. I did the same thing. I was playing on stream and I lost to it and I was like, I wonder if I can build this. I went, no, I didn't have half of these cards. And I just built was it control, and I literally went to 0 rare wild cards. Just none. and then I won a couple of games and I got a rare wild card in a pack. So I've got 1 now.
I've got
like
1 rare.
3 mythics or something like that. So I'm ready for new Capenna. Let's go.
All right. So historic. What are we playing there, Cracker?
Grease Fiend combo.
Yep. just go all out. Try and
why not?
Yep. Just roll your dice and see if you get lucky. I like it. Stu, what's taking your fancy?
Bin chickens, because that's all I've got built for historic.
What if you had unlimited wildcards and you could pick anything else?
I'd probably still pick bin chickens.
Yeah,
because it's all I know how to play.
Yep. Yeah, Phoenix is it's just that good, solid deck that just always performs well and has game against pretty much everything, and even like the sideboard hate that people bring in, your Grafdigger's Cages and your graveyard removal and all that sort of stuff, you can just play around it. Like you just hardcast Phoenixes and you just win anyway. So it's just got game against pretty much everything. Looking at this meta or matchup matrix that we've got here, though, it has a horrible matchup against Golgari Food. Everything else has got positive matchups, and then Golgari Food, it's 36.8%. So
yeah, wow.
That would be my second choice. It is a good fun deck, but not as fun to play, very repetitive sacking cats and putting them in your ovens and that sort of thing over and over again. Not the most exciting, whereas Phoenix, it's all, I'm going to roll the dice. How many Phoenixes am I going to hit off my Faithless Looting? And all that sort of stuff. You get cool moments. So stick with the bin chickens and go for that. So I don't know if anyone from our Discord is playing or anyone in the Beans community, but if you are, good luck in it.
We wish you well.
Tune in for the coverage because, like Craig said, there is a really good team. You've got people like Cedric and Corey and those sorts of guys that are on coverage that do a fantastic job. Riley Knight's on there, enough said. And, usually the production quality is quite good for these things. So, should be good. Tune in and we may maybe break it down next week. Probably not.
I think we'll have other things to talk about next week.
Yeah. I think we'll have just about anything else to talk about next week. All right. So last thing I want to touch on is the Kamigawa League that is running at the moment. Just more as a reminder for everyone that's playing. I'm like halfway through my matches. I've played 3 out of 6 matches. How are you guys going with your matches?
0-2 currently. Yep.
Okay.
2-zip.
Stu?
2-zip.
Oh.
2-zip. Oh, jeez. Okay. Well done, Stu. I think I'm 2-1, so I'm doing okay. But yeah, just I guess a reminder for everyone, this league is shorter than the ones we've done in the past. So the match deadline is next Friday, the 18th of April, 18th of March. So yeah, really this is your last weekend as someone pointed out in the Discord, and that might be something we have to look at for the next league. If we're doing less weeks, we might need an extra weekend in there to get people to, especially with the time zones and things like that. So yeah, get those matches done. I think with a bunch of matches that have been played tonight, we're probably about halfway through all the matches, which is good. But yeah, with a week left, there's still a lot to go. So get in, play those matches, and try and get in for the weekly
quick
draw.
Tip on that. Also, if you've got matches you need to play, don't just post in your group chat saying, "Oh, hey, is anyone available?" Like, start pinging people directly, and people will pay more attention to DMs. I know I do. Like, I've had a couple, and I was like, "Yeah, no problem. We'll sort this out." So, like, try and be specific. Recommend a time and a day that suits you, or give people a couple of options and let them choose, rather than the 5 minutes before you start streaming saying, "Oh, hey, who wants to play some matches tonight?"
Who would do that?
Not me. It was more than 5 minutes, but anyway. That tends to have the best success, and particularly as we have like a week left, even though it's not a massive amount, if you've still got, 4 matches to play or whatever, then, that's one every couple of days. You got to kind of keep on top of it. Yeah.
And we do find with Discord, a lot of people have, notifications muted and things like that, or you might be in one of the groups that's super chatty and there's always a lot of stuff going on there. So it's very easy to miss when you're trying to get someone to play your match. But if you direct message them, they're going to get that notification. It's going to show up in a different spot in their Discord. They're much more likely to see the message. And if you, go through the Beans tournament rules, one of the things is that if you've been contacting your opponent, trying to tee up times and offering times and things like that, and they're just not responding, well then, when the league ends, if there's outstanding matches, it at least gives you some a case to put forward to us to say, look, here's a screenshot. I contacted my opponent X amount of times. They never responded. And so then we can look at awarding you the win, which in the smaller groups can make quite a big difference because, people on potentially like 3-3 records are going to be in the top 2 places and making it through to the finals. So just get them done, get the matches done, contact people directly, and try and get in that top 2 spot to qualify for the finals. So that's going to be it for tonight. That was a very whingy, whiny,
sorry everybody.
I'm
try not to do them. No, I am. I always feel bad when the host just complained for an hour, but here we are.
We talked about some good positive stuff.
We tried to turn it around.
Listen,
I think we did well, guys. We're very balanced.
If you're trying to tell me that banning Lewis is good positive stuff,
I agree. I'd like to see Lewis unbanned.
Thank you.
I enjoy Lewis. He's a great card.
I'll put it on the unbanned Splinter Twin t-shirt. Unbanned Splinter Twin.
Oh, please do that too.
Very good. All right. So if you are one of those people out there who loves the Alchemy format, and you're that person that's racking up all those matches to make up that 1/10 of the matches that are getting played in Standard, then come and tell us all about it. We have an Alchemy channel in our Discord, so come and join us in our Discord. Jump in the Alchemy channel. Start
full of tumbleweeds.
Just start telling us about how good the format is and
why
we should all be playing. Yeah, I think everybody muted the Alchemy channel as soon as we created it. But yeah, our Discord is an awesome place to be in, and that's the best place to be to hear about our events and tournaments and all the different things we've got going on when we're going to be streaming and all that sort of stuff. So the link for that is always in the show notes. There's also a link in the show notes for our merch store if you want to grab some sweet Magic Beans gear so you can wear it at your local store, or for that one day when we actually all get to catch up at a GP or something like that. Just follow that link in the show notes, and any proceeds from that just goes straight back into the prize pool for all the events that we run. So the more you buy, the more it goes back into the prize pool and the more prizes we can give out. Speaking of prizes we give out, Josh and Pat's MTG Bazaar do sponsor all the different things we do. So go to jpmtgbazaar.com.au, takes you to the Facebook group, join the group and start bidding on their daily auctions and let them know the beans sent you when you win something. If you want to see all the different things we do, we are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch and Twitter, all those places. We are Magic Beans or Magic Beans Cast. Just search us up and you'll find us on there. If you want to find me on Twitter, oh wow, my voice is dying at the end of the podcast. I am on Twitter at PSync. Cracker, you are?
At Joel Hill _.
And Stu?
At MStewy.
Very good. So that's it for this week. Thank you, as always, for listening, despite how ranty this podcast was. Stay safe out there, and we will see you all next time.